telling your parents, your friends, like, okay, guys, I think it's getting real.
Still waiting on that moment. Never
You
happened.
still,
Like I said, I'm so simple. I'm trying to tell you, I'm so simple. That stuff never got to me. It was never one of the things that these kids nowadays. What you gonna do, girl? I want to make the NFL. I want to go to the NBA. All these
uh,
grand ideas. My idea was okay. Where we meeting up at today? Where we playing ball at? Or where we playing whatever? What we doing today? Where's the bike meeting? We riding our bikes to. That was kind of my thing. Even in high
wow,
school,
okay.
what are we doing? Who house we meet at after school? We're gonna hang out, we talk and joke around. That was what it was all about for me. But when it really, I guess, kind of answered the question, when it started to get real for me
Hmm.
was when the coaches started showing up to um the practices and started showing up to games, and they're calling me on the phone and they wanted me to come to visit their school. It got real, but for the reason why it got real for me, not for the sake of playing ball, but for the sake of, hey, I got an opportunity to go to college. Because I honestly, if I had to go on my own merit, I wouldn't have been able to afford it. So being able to have a scholarship, to know that that burden wouldn't be placed on my parents to pay for schooling,
Such a
that's what
blessing.
made it real for me. That's what made it exciting for me. And I don't even do excitement. It was just more like taking that pressure off my parents. So I guess, sort of, to answer your question, that's what made it real for me.
Okay, and so and because I don't but see, I guess I'm at question because I know at that point you are very modest, Woody, but at that point you are Woody Dantzler from Monroe Wilkinson High. So at that point, are the scholarship officers the full scholarship off the gate, or did they start off as partial and they got the full, or were all your scholarship offers full off the gate?
Well, it was, good question. I don't even know about a partial, but no, it was the conversation was around full scholarship, to my understanding.
Okay.
So the offers just they came after we talk on the phone. They come see a couple of games later on in the year.
Mhm.
The offers started coming. So yeah, they were full rides.
You remember the first one? 'Cause I know it's so many in between. Do you remember the first full scholarship offer you got?
No, I will. I'm gonna say it probably was Clemson. I'm just don't. No, I take that back. I'm gonna tell you my first scholarship offer. I actually do remember what my first scholarship offer
Uh-huh.
was. It was I think it was my senior year, and it was the first time that they can actually come and visit you in your home.
Okay.
Coach Willie Jeffries
Oh, oh.
came and sat down in my thing and said, "Hey, you need to come to South Carolina State. This is where you need to be. I know I have, because he had never called me. He had never reached out, but then finally he showed up at my house and we had a nice little conversation. So I think that I'm going to say that was my first scholarship offer right before my
Okay.
senior year. So
Wow. Coach, shout out
yeah,
Coach Willie. Shout out Coach Willie
another
Jeffrey,
legend,
who's
legend.
definitely a legend. So, in this gather, I'm saying this is no offense, to South Carolina State. At that time, like you said, South Carolina State in the backyard. Did you think? I know you're very very modest, but did you think the highest, not highest level, but did you think you was gonna go to state until the big boys came?
I'm gonna say this, but I'm not gonna name no names. I had a good friend of mine. He said, "You come to South Carolina State, I kill you." He just told me straight out. And if you listen to, he hear this, he gonna know exactly what I'm talking. He said, "You come to South Carolina State, I kid." But what he was saying, was he's like, "Man, yeah, you can come here and you would do." He said, "But no," he said, you're bigger. Not that anything wrong with State, love State, great school, great
Correct.
people, but just like one of those things of, you have someone looking out for you. He's like, "No, you need to go, you need to go. So you don't need to
Okay.
come to State." So, but yeah, he said, "You come to State, I kill you," and
So,
he was at State at the time.
so I understand that because obviously we know you've been on the breakout kind of record, so we know. I think everybody know. Like I said, I think you just being such a great, a humble guy you are, but everybody around you. I, I give you a perfect example with it. Today, um my son is 7 years old,
Mm,
and so his quarterback's not Lamar Jackson.
yeah.
So I said, son, I'm doing a interview today of a one of our legend named Woodrow Dantzler. And he said, well, Dad, he played quarterback? I said, yes. I showed him your highlight reel. And he was like, he from Orangeburg? And I said, yes, son. And so I'm like, you were just ahead of your time. I'm gonna get to that later. You was ahead of your time. Okay, so what made you choose Clemson throughout the process?
I love telling this story because it's all the coaches I've spoken with, the visits I went on, unofficial, official, and the conversations I had on the phone. Like I said, I still didn't know. I don't know anything about these schools. I didn't know much about Carolina either. I mean, Carolina's right there in Columbia, but I didn't know nothing about them. So when it came down to it and it was time to make a decision, well, actually, I didn't know if it was time to make a decision, but when I decided to make my decision, I decided to go to Clemson because of a guy by the name of Rick Stockstill. Okay. He was my recruit. He's my recruiting coordinator. He was the guy who recruited me. He had my territory. So he was the one he just felt like another father. I mean, he was genuine. He was down to earth. He was who he said he was. So okay. I always say I didn't commit to Clemson. I committed to Rick Stockstill.
Wow.
So that was for me. Because again, I didn't know nothing about Clemson at all. But I knew Rick Stockstill. And I felt the love that he had and his genuineness. So I committed to Rick Stockstill. He just so happened to be a coach at Clemson.
So pretty much you're saying if he would have been a coach at any other school, you probably would chose that other school because of just the genuine person he was.
Most likely, yeah.
Wow. Man, I wish he was at Carolina. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I got a question. So you took his. So was it in this school that was close, that kind of in the running, or not really?
And yeah, that was one of those things that people kept asking. What's your top? But they won't. Matter of fact, Phil Kornblue. He was he's a good friend of mine still to this day. He was the reporter at the time. He used to always call my house trying to get inside tip. What's your top 5? Never had a top 5. Never had a schools that I was just like, honestly, can I be totally transparent? I wasn't really paying attention. Hey, I'm good to go on this visit. I'm going on this visit. That's really about it. It was just I was so naive to the process. I was so in my own world, not really fully understanding everything. But no, I didn't have a first, second, third, top, nothing. It was just when it came down to it, it's like I'm going where you at. Going to Clemson.
Wow.
And I remember sitting in it happened at OW in the little auditorium. I don't know if it's still there, right with that little, right outside it's the old main office because the main
it's
office.
Still there.
So that office there, yeah, right there, and then you got the cafeteria over there. So
right
where that tree thing was, that little concrete, we were standing right there, right between there and the gym. We were standing there talking, and he was like, because I was like, well, I just need a little bit more time. He's like, what you need time for? He's having that conversation. I said, okay, fine, I'm coming, and it happened right at OW.
Wow. And you've been on it and changed history. You've been on change history for W. Clemson. So, because at that time, when I'm trying to remember, I'm pretty sure it was always gathered with the school, but I'm gonna just say in our generation, because I can't count the guys before. Shout out to them, but in our generation, I think you was that I can remember to go to a big school and was like a big deal. Because when you went, because I was in elementary school at that time,
right?
And you was, I think you set the president. I think you put a W back on the map. I know you won't say that, but
a couple of them, yeah, because right before when I first came in, I was, matter of fact, when I was a ninth grader, his name was Damian Young. I think he was a defensive lineman. He went to South Carolina. He committed to South Carolina. Then after that, I know Arturo Freeman. He ended up going to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Not Dwayne, but Devron. He went to Notre Dame. So we had some guys.
So Devron is ahead of you?
Yeah, Devron's a year ahead of me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we already know Dwayne. He played with the Seahawks for a while. He went to South State, but yeah, Devron went to, and I want to say Shelton Benjamin. I think he went to NC State, but I think he ended up wrestling. He went.
Yeah, I thought he didn't go to Minnesota.
I don't know.
Okay, but he was a wrestler.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah. Okay.